Let's talk about Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. So, have you seen the first? Thank you for your applause.
I have.
Have you seen the first one?
Not only did I see the first one, I was traumatized by it. Considering being divorced, which is the heaviest decision somebody can make, watching a movie that I think pretty much said the only way your son will love you if you're a divorced dad is if you become this mythical bestower of gifts.
I was so drawn into the first. My girlfriend and I started watching the Santa Claus 1, and I was like, holy shit, when it didn't fade in on sleigh bells ring, and there's like French fry wrappers, and it's like he's like, oh, I hate Christmas, you know what I mean? Or like a yuppie who's like, fuck Christmas, I gotta work. It was neither. Tim Allen was like, totally get it, the importance of Christmas, like love my family, wish my son would spend Christmas with me. I'm like, wait, this is the third act of most Christmas movies, and I know from the billboard that this guy's gonna become Santa Claus. I got really way too excited because I was like, this shit's gonna go deep. Because the only available arc for this guy has to do with his divorce and his acceptance of his son's, that he's like, it's like that he's gonna like that Santa Claus is gonna fall off the roof because I saw the trailer, so I know what happens, that he gets the suit, and then that he was gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna prove my son's stepfather like, is such a fucking piece of shit. And then the reindeer or the elves would be like, dude, Christmas can't be weaponized.
Can we just zoom out for a why did you watch the three of them? Like what?
Well, I haven't watched all three of them. I got halfway through the second one, just blew my fucking mind. Or no, I got through the whole second one because I saw the ending, which blew my
That was Mrs. Claus?
mind. The answer is because Cody's like, she's like, what's a good Christmas movie? She's Jewish, and I'm like, there's no good Christmas movies. I like
what?
Like Christmas is dumb.
What about Elf?
Christmas isn't dumb, but like the idea that like most movies suck. So then you add, like good Christmas. It's like saying, like, I don't know. It's just dumb.
Right.
Like,
there's Christmas Story.
But I always like it when we watch it. Like Christmas Story is, I would seen it.
Right. How many times can you watch it? Right.
And so I was glad I watched Santa Claus. Like, but it turned into a kind of a random like showcase of stand-up comics. Like, it's like, oh, he's a good guy. He's very sexy. He's very practical.
You're talking about Tim Allen?
Yeah, I'm saying that's what the movie is saying. I'm saying,
it's not what you're saying.
I mistook it.
Okay.
I said this movie's gonna go deep, and it didn't. I was mistaking the movie like being kind of irresponsibly amorphous because I think it was so written by committee that I was like projecting. I was like, this shit's gonna get fucking nuanced because he needs to get over his judgmentalism. Like basically he's going to get in charge of who's naughty and who's nice, and he's going to need to accept that if you have that power, you need to be like Woodrow Wilson's like administration. You need to like, anyways. But
I want to watch you watch that movie.
Cody and I we just pause movies like and then we're like the thing we both agreed on the entire time we were watching Santa Claus 1 is like we both kept saying, I'm so excited there's 2 more of these. Which kind of explains, or like that's why there's 2 more of them, because we both kept also going like, this is starting to suck. Like it doesn't make any sense. But at the very end of the Santa Claus 1, which I think seems like a very low budget kind of thing where they didn't quite believe in it. Like I think Tim Allen was like, like, he's a tool timer or something. And they're like, we'll give you $20 million and some morphing bits. Like maybe the chimney can like morph a little bit. I heard about this morphing thing, and we'll build 3 sets. And it was sort of like a sleeper hit. Like it felt like watching Lethal Weapon 1, where it's like, they didn't believe this was gonna do anything. And then the second one was like fucking boom, like. Because the first one ends with like a couple of kids putting on jetpacks, like elves, and they're like, "We're elves and we got jetpacks," and you're like, you can tell that like people watch the first one and they're like, "I love the elves and the jetpacks." second one's like $90 million, fades in, CG fucking things, there's elves and jetpacks everywhere. The story is so fucking awful. It's like 20. So here's the mind-blowing thing. Santa Claus 2, have you seen it?
Isn't that the Mrs. Claus?
Yeah, it's the Mrs. Claus. So here's the fucking...
This is before Jack Frost enters the
pants.
fray.
In the beginning of the movie, it's like Tim Allen is already Santa Claus because obviously in the resolution of the first movie, he's like, well, I'm going to live at the North Pole forever until I die. And I'm going to be Santa Claus. So it fades in on that. So he's just like, I'm Santa Claus. And I'm Tim Allen and I'm Santa Claus and I love it and everything's fine. And then they're like, somebody tell him. And he's like, somebody tell me what? And they're like, you have to have a wife or you're going to turn back into Tim Allen. And he's like, oh no. And I'm like, what? What?
That would have been relevant in the first movie, wouldn't it?
The movie's going to happen backwards unless you marry someone.
Yeah.
I'm already like, okay, like, I know, like, so marry someone. Like, everyone, like, your character is divorced. He's already an expert in the fact that marriage means nothing. Go find a woman and explain to her. Pay her in toys. Like
That's not a
instead,
wife.
there's like this unspoken thing where he's like, oh, I'll find a wife in 28 days. And I'm like, what do you mean? You could find a wife in 20 minutes. People do it every day. That's not, if you're talking about the actual just ceremony, no. But so it's like, no, I have to fall in love with a woman that's worth my undying devotion in 28 days. So in order to accomplish that task, they split him in two with a toy machine.
What?
That turns.
What? Continue.
That turns one Tim Allen into a plastic Hitler Santa Claus.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And the other Tim Allen can slowly morph back into Tim Allen while he goes back to his hometown and finds a woman that he's entitled to that... Luckily for him, he finds within two women of his two women montage, the first of whom is Molly Shannon, who is simply, he goes on one date in a dating montage. It's one date. Molly Shannon shows up.
But how can it be a montage if there's
It's not a montage. That's me being like, I'm like yeah, he as a character is playing it like he's got a whole dating montage. No, dude, you don't have a dating montage. You're by the grace of Christ. You have an ex-wife who hooked you up with Molly Shannon, who, by the way, is a pretty attractive fucking woman in it. Who the whole gimmick of her character is she's so into Christmas that it turns him off. Fuck you, fuck you. It's
Santa.
So fucking crazy. I'm like screaming at the TV. I'm like, first of all, she goes, "What do you do?" Of course, he has to lie. Because he's Santa Claus, and everyone knows if you're Santa Claus, the whole point is you have to lie. Because I work in toys, and he's like, oh, because he's like, I don't know if this woman I'm entitled to is like making the cut. What do you do? And she's like, well, I'm a fucking she rattles off some occupations that I guess are unsexy. But then she's like, but what I really want to do is sing. And he's like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, do you know Shania Twain? I love her. And she starts singing a Shania Twain song, and everyone in the restaurant starts going like, ugh. And including fucking Tim Allen. Fuck you!
Yeah.
Marry her now!
Yeah.
Stop pretending there's anything at stake. Marry this bitch. You fucking went to New York to or wherever the fuck this story takes place, the big city. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how lucky you are that your ex-wife hooked you up with a Christmas-loving bitch? You go to dinner, you have the fucking gall. Oh, I don't know if I cotton to a fucking chick singing out loud. You're fucking Santa Claus. You live in a fucking secret bunker that if in your wildest dreams, if you go down on her tonight and she likes it, you have to then tell her, please marry me? And if you say yes, come live with me forever at the top of the planet?
Yeah, with elves and reindeer.
With a bunch of fucking weird reverse progeria people and animatronic reindeer, and just like spend your life hanging out while I do one thing one night a year and then suck my dick. Will you please, if you would please, I require it for my thing. And I was like, and you're why does Molly Shannon said yes to that? And she's singing, I'd be like, fucking bank, let's do it. But he's like, oh no, he falls into a relationship with this, like the principal of the school of his kid, who and he's like, oh well, I think I love her. And he goes through the whole movie they go through, so they have to go back to the North Pole. The movie is over in 10 minutes. And they go back to the North Pole with the woman who's like the unlikely love interest. And they defeat robot Nazi Santa Claus, who has decided that all children are naughty, so they should all get coal. So he has an army of toy soldiers. It was a fucking amazing idea that should have been the whole point of the movie. But... but it's like, instead it's like, oh, he's a crazy Santa Claus. But no, he's not crazy. He's following the rules of being Santa. He should be like, what is naughtiness? Like, they're so close to a fucking profound thing where it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, fucking, let's do this. Like, the whole world should be the North Pole. Like, that should have been the thing. But the whole movie's about, like, pulling back from chances to awake people. He comes back. Thank you, Stephen Conrad, for your patience. He comes back to the North Pole.
While I'm sitting here, I'm just repeating in my head. The whole movie is about blowing chances to awaken people.
Yeah.
He has to find a woman. He has to find a wife, and it's not. It would be a charming thing if they said you have to find a wife, and then he was like, I have to find a wife. And then would go okay, I have to find a wife, and then his heart wouldn't be in it. I need a Mrs. Claus, because having the institution of marriage be like a formality, and then the complication could be that he fell in love, and that's
like a reverse Cinderella.
Yeah, sure, or like any romantic story ever was like arranged marriage versus where the heart wants to go. But instead, they're just like, oh, well, geez, that's not a lot of time to find a wife at all.
I love the way you're thinking about it.
So the last 5 minutes of the movie, they come back to the North Pole. Nazi Santa Claus is like almost, oh my God, the ticking clock on this, you guys. Oh my God. Like, if they don't catch this guy in time, he is going to gradually deliver coal to one house at a time. It's like if in Dr. No, like James Bond's like, I gotta get this bomb. It's gonna like start telling people that the world is blowing up. Who fucking let him go? How about this? Like, let him go. Build him a second sleigh. Let him go deliver coal. That's not going to go over with anyone.
Also, they didn't really follow the old marriage then baby. Which they could have done for the second movie. They could have gotten a wife, and then there's a whole dilemma with a baby.
The baby clause.
Oh, are you trying to bring Christ into Christmas? Because
Santa's baby is not Jesus Christ.
He fights Nazi robot Santa Claus in a conveniently circular arc above the North Pole because it doesn't go anywhere. The sleigh crashes back down where the sleigh left. So no stakes. He was never going to go anywhere. All you had to do was get in the sleigh and inconvenience him. He was a robot Nazi Santa Claus. He was not going to succeed. Even if he did, like, how amazing would that be? Hey, everyone got coal last night. Oh, so Santa's real? Fuck it. Nothing at stake. Nothing at stake. It just kills a robot that he created so that he could fuck a woman. Crashes the sleigh. And everyone's like, yay, you did it. You beat Nazi Santa Claus. He was a robot. I can't believe you did it. That's so great. And Tim Allen's like, he looks exactly like Tim Allen because the whole point of the movie is that his magic is reversing. So now he looks like Tim Allen. And he's like, let's go. We got to go. Now let's go do what we do. Let's go deliver the presents. And the head elf goes like, like it's and Tim Allen goes, oh, and he looks at his regular Tim Allen body, and he goes, oh, and he turns to the female lead of the movie, fucking 5 minutes from the credits, and he goes like, I forgot to tell you that you now have a choice. I'm going to put choice in really big peppermint air quotes. You have a choice between legally binding yourself to filleting me for the rest of your life in an underground bunker outside of any national jurisdiction. And, or hey, it's your choice. I'll take you back home and Christmas, no more Christmas forever. And she's like, I've made my decision. It's like the movie's just like, yay! It's incredible. I'm not a feminist. I hate women. I marvel at this movie.
You hate women, but you want Santa to do the right thing, is what you're saying.
Well, no, I want screenwriters to be put on a leash. Like if they're writing for children, why? Look, here's the thing: kids don't care about marriage. That's the thing that they ran into in the movie. They're like, look, the guy was already divorced. We swallowed that horse pill in the first movie. It just meant that he was single, so he could do sex jokes. So he's like, oh, you're naughty. You're nice. Hey, your ass is nice. And she's like, in your dreams, Slayboy. What? Wait. Anyways, but the kids are like, and then somebody was like, let's make the second movie about finding a wife. Okay, no, don't.
Right.
It's a kids movie.
Right.
Don't make it about that, because then the rest of they had to like. Then they were like, oh, so the second movie is going to be about him slowly turning from Santa Claus into Tim Allen while he tries to fuck a woman.
Do you think maybe they're just setting up a really majestic third?
I happen to know. I know from the billboards that the third one is Martin Short as Jack Frost. I'm hoping it's going to be like a fucking awesome like Star Trek thing where it's like the first two movies don't even matter. I will, Nova. I will watch the third Santa Claus. No, I'm like, believe me, Cody's like, why aren't you home? Why aren't we watching the third Santa Claus?
Jack Frost.
What do you think?
That's a real person? Like, what is that?
I mean, I'll tell you what it is. It's a fucking vitamin B shot into the arm of a dying franchise.
Wait, but if he's in a movie, how does that make him a real person?
Well, it's just, it's like Santa Claus, right? Get it? Like Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, right? Like he has a wife, get it? Jack Frost. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm sure he's
Jack
gonna be
Frost.
He's gonna be like a straw dog for secular. That whole, I'm telling you, that franchise. I don't like. Honestly, it's like, oh my god, it's so skirting
the war on Christmas,
the pre-Trump like war on Christmas thing, where it's
yeah.
It just felt like, oh my God, this is what we did. We were like liberal screenwriters and like we just inflated this bubble. We're so surprised it popped because every villain in the franchise is like someone who inexplicably doesn't want Christmas decorations to go up. And it's like, it sounds like something you'd see on Facebook, but it's not, because the principle that he ends up fucking and imprisoning in his compound. And people, she begins as a cuck snowflake principal.
Oh my God.
But here's her reason for being anti-Christmas. She doesn't think that school budgets should be spent on such frivolities when people should be focusing on academia. Okay, that's not an actual issue, but it's like pushing these buttons of like, well, come on, can't say Merry Christmas anymore. Like, well, not because of some crazy person who thinks that it saves money.
Yeah, school budgets are expensive because the people want things.
So they jam those buttons, and then she ends up going like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like, I'll fuck you forever. Like, I met you 3 days ago, and during the time I knew you, you slowly morphed from Santa Claus to Tim Allen and back. He says something right at the end. He marries her on the spot. He gets in his sleigh, and she's like, "See you later." And he's like, "Hey," he says something like get ready, like
Hell yeah.
He's like, get fucking ready, because I'm gonna be out all. He's like a truck driver. He's like, I'm gonna fucking make this haul, but when I come back, you better, like, I'm gonna take your mood as an insult. You better spend this time putting the work in of like realizing how much you love me. It was like really.
Please let that be the title of the show. Turn your mood into an insult.
I think there should be an alternate ending where it's just like him in the back seat of the sled, just kind of checked out, looking out the window as he's like going home. You know.
Here are some things that movie franchise never addresses, even though the whole thing invites you to ask questions about how Christmas works. Like, all this fun of like, what if there's no chimney? Oh, well, then it morphs. Like, they never, ever, there's nothing about, like, how do we hit every house on the planet in 6 hours?
Right.
There's nothing.
What is the morphing chimney part?
In the first movie, it's so bad. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, I gotta go down the chimney, and then he does this, like, bad, like, pre-Jim Carrey mask. Actually, I wonder if it's like I don't know what their excuse is. I think it's just like they didn't believe in the movie, and like so it's just like it looks like just like a cutout of Tim Allen like morphing, like he's just being keyframed like in Adobe After Effects. It's not like a real CG thing. It's like it just looks like a 2D magazine cutout thing, like Last Starfighter. Like he just goes down the chimney, and then they make this big deal about how some houses don't have chimneys, and here's how they handle it: the houses that don't have chimneys. Well, they have like little pipes, and so he morphs to go down there. And then they cut to like their version of a poor person's house, which just has a radiator. And the radiator morphs into a magical Doctor Who fireplace that apparently travels with Santa Claus. Because, you know, the whole point of the movie is to take every piece of the Santa legend and make it real. And so like rich screenwriters are going, well, what do poor people do to justify Santa coming in their house? I don't know. They must think their radiators turn into fireplaces. No, their parents tell them he doesn't come down the he comes in the door like a human. That's what my parents told me. They're like, no, he's a dude. He comes in the door. I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, it's fine. He's not going to kill you. He's going to give you presents. One thing. Okay, no. Oh God, it's so late. No, fuck you. Okay, we're gonna I don't know how to end shows. Do you know how to end shows?